Good morning, everybody. We're going to be working on page 106. And what we're going to be working with today is we're going to be working with money. And we're going to be focusing on dimes, pennies, and quarters. And we're going to be putting these amounts in fraction form and decimal form. So 23 hundredths and 23 hundredths. So this lesson has real-life applications for us to be able to solve. So we're working with money and fraction form and decimal form. So let's get into it. So let's zoom in on 15, 16, 17, and 18. And before we begin, let's talk about money. Let's talk about the place value chart. And let's talk about ones, tenths, and hundredths. Now, focusing on our place value chart, we know that pennies take, how many pennies equal $1? Well, we know that a penny, it takes 100 pennies to equal $1. Or 0 and 0 100ths. So a penny is going to be 0.01 hundredth. This is a penny. It takes 100 pennies to make $1. That makes sense, right? Hundredths. A dime there takes 10 dimes to make $1, or 0 and 1/10. So we have 0.1/10. This is a dime. Okay. So 10 dimes equals $1. Now our last one is a quarter. And a quarter takes 4 quarters to make $1, 25 cents. However, with 25 cents, let me lower this a bit. 25 cents, we are going to have 0 and, let me make it red. Make it red, different ink. 0 and 25 cents. This is a quarter. All right. So now that we have our place value, and knowing that, hey, this is a dime, this is a penny, and this is a quarter, we are going to focus on solving for each. So if we have 3 dimes, I know that if we have 3 dimes, all right, let's go into solving each one. So 15, 16, 17, and 18. If I have 3 dimes, I know that it's going to be, remember, we're doing this as a decimal and as a fraction form. I'm going to start with decimal form. I know that it's going to be 3/10. Plus, and pennies, I know that it's going to be 0 and 8 hundredths. When I add these together, it's going to equal 0 and 38 hundredths. Or 38 hundredths. And that's what we're working with these problems, just knowing what are tenths, what are hundredths, and adding them together, or finding the sum in order to solve. So let's continue. Let's do a dimes. I know 1 dime is 1/10, so if I have 8, it's going to be 8/10. Plus 23 pennies, so I know that it's going to be 0 and 23 hundredths. We could do 2/10 plus 3 hundredths, but if it's 23 pennies, it's going to be 23 hundredths. Okay? In order to add these is simple. What we're going to do is you can add the tenths. So when we look at this, we're going to focus on the tenths here. And you see that we have 8/10 and 2/10. And if we have 10/10, that equals 1 whole. So here, I have 10/10. I have a whole. And what do I have left? I have 3 hundredths left. However, if we did this as a fraction, it would actually make a lot more sense if I had 8/10 plus 23 hundredths, right? And now what we can do is we'll just multiply this by 10 to make 80 hundredths. We add them to make 103 hundredths. We take out 100 hundredths. And we have 3 hundredths left over. And this equals 1 whole and 3 hundredths. Same thing. Okay? Perfect. So, you can do this in a lot of different ways. You can look at the tenths, add them, know that 10/10 equals a whole, and 3 hundredths is left over, or you can do it in fraction form and solve it by converting. So this is why I really like this math. It's fun to play with the different numbers. So let's go with the next one. I have 3/4, so let's put this in fraction form. 75 hundredths. I have 3 dimes. Plus 3/10. And I have 5 pennies. 5 hundredths. Perfect. The only thing we're going to change here, is we're going to change this tenth and we're going to convert it to hundredths. So let's do it. Boom and boom. And now we have hundredths here. And just so you're aware, I multiplied this by 10 to make 30 hundredths. But to make time easier, I know that it'll be 30 hundredths. And now when we add, we're going to add, let's go with purple. I'm going to add 75, 30, and 5. And I know that's going to be 110 hundredths. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to take 100 hundredths out. And I'll have 10 hundredths left. And I'll have 1 whole and 10 hundredths. Or 1 and 10 hundredths. And there we go. All right, I would like for you to do this next one. I'm going to set you up, but I want you to find the answer on your own. All right? So I'm going to set you up with 236 cents is what fraction of a dollar. So you're going to set this up as 236 over 100 because hundredths is a dollar. That's a dollar. So I want you to solve this one. Perfect. Now, what I would like for you to do is check your answer. So I can take out, actually, I can take out 200 hundredths out, and that's going to be 2 whole. And what do I have left? I have 36 hundredths left, or 2 and 36 hundredths. Very cool. All right, so let's go on the bottom portion of this, and let's solve 19, 20, and 21 together respectfully. Well, let's go in. And let's start working with the problem. So they want us to answer as a decimal. So no fractions this time. So just decimals, which makes it a little bit easier for us. So I have $2.17 plus $4 and 2 quarters. So that's 50. So that's 50. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you standard algorithm on how to solve just for decimals. So I'm going to put this right underneath, and now you can solve by just looking at place value. And 0 plus 7 is 7. 5 plus 1 is 6. Put your decimal down. And 4 plus 2 is 6. So now we have 6 and 67 cents. So now I want you to pause. I want you to pause the video. Boom. I want you to pause the video and work on 20 and 21 using standard algorithm in order to solve. You might have to unbundle you might have to bundle to solve, but get this practice in for 20 and 21. And happy math hunting. Great job. And if you have any questions, please ask me. I'll be taking this as your exit ticket. Thank you.